You don't need the.
I'm doing this my way. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend, he a legend, he a legend. He a legend. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items. Welcome to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league, to the league of items.
What's up, everybody? It's Pikel with League of Items, and we finished up on day one. So let's quickly recap day one. First up, we had T1 against Saigon Buffalo. Saigon Buffalo won the early game by a little bit. They took the first tower, but T1 won a team fight and took two towers to go 2,000 gold up around the 17 to 18 minute mark. And then the game wasn't close from that point on. My thing with Saigon Buffalo, in order for them to actually snowball that game, they need to take that tower advantage and their Tristana pick, and they need to use that across the map. You need to move your resources around the map to maintain that tower advantage. So here's a quick question. Saigon Buffalo took the first tower, right, at around the 9-minute mark. What time? Oh, no, they took the first tower at 13:30. What time do they take the second tower? I'll let you answer that in the comment section below. You're probably not going to get it right. In the second game, we had DFM against Team A's. It was a 3-0 in the early game, and it never felt close. Not much to say there. I thought it was a spot where you could take a position on A's chasing the value that's in the line. Didn't end up working. Then we had G2 against Order. Order kept the game relatively close throughout. They made an aggressive play around the Baron pit, lost that fight, lost the Baron. I respect them taking that chance, though, so I have no issues with how they played. I don't know if they're going to be able to perform like that in every game. But if they do perform like that in every game, then they might get a win or two. Next up, G2 against EG. This is the one that everybody wanted to see, and G2 won. JoJo was punished really hard. There was a really good Baron sneak by G2, and once that happens, it's really tough to win that match from that deficit, especially with how the draft went. I know that, obviously, you can kind of try to blame the draft for every game in League of Legends, but for this one specifically, picking Karthus into Graves seems like a very bad idea to me, because Graves is going to have priority throughout the game. He is going to have the ability to go and impact lanes earlier in the game. He's going to be able to invade the enemy jungle at will, basically, as long as he's getting some kind of support from his team, and his team offered more support throughout the game, and G2 played around that better than EG did. JoJo being behind in mid lane probably exacerbated this issue a lot, so maybe they could run back this draft. Maybe EG would be comfortable running back this draft, and it changes. But I would be kind of surprised. I know that Karthus jungle is probably strong, but that seems like a better pick for T1 or RNG to use against a bottom level team, because it basically forces the enemy to punish you. Well, G2 punished them, and congrats to G2 for that win. I'm still on EG. This was always in the range of outcomes. Next up, we have RNG against Istanbul Wildcats. There was a 2,000 gold lead before 10 minutes, never very close. Red against PSG. Red won the match, so that's really cool. They won a dragon fight after PSG won the dragon, took the dragon. That made the game 4-0, and there was a 2,000 gold lead, and they basically, I don't know if I'd consider it a flawless game, but they were doing what they were supposed to, and they executed well. So that's a very good win for Alex. Alex had some money on Red Canids for sure. So let's talk about the games for tomorrow. So let me change this. So this is kind of how I'm seeing things for tomorrow. So first up, we have G2 against EG. It's just a It's just a repeat of the match that happened yesterday. My opinion isn't going to change on EG going into day 2. EG is being offered at plus 175. I instantly put a $100 bet on EG at plus 175. Some of you might be saying, oh, well, G2 showed that they're the superior team yesterday. Well, in reality, when you're betting on anything, you need to try to figure out what percentage of the time do I think that G2 wins and what percentage of the time do I think that EG wins. If you think that G2 wins 100% of the times, 100% of the time, then yes, you are not going to make a bet on EG. I don't think that it's going to be 100% of the time. And in order for me to do well at this number, they need to win more than 40% of the time. And as somebody who believes in EG, I feel like I'm getting a 20% edge over the sportsbook. Because if it's like around 35, I think that I would favor them 55-45 against G2. I know that the tier list is basically saying it's a 50-50 matchup. But if I had to pick it my way, I would still take EG. So I'm running it back. We'll see how that goes. That's also the first leg of a parlay that I have for tomorrow. So fingers crossed, hopefully that hits. It's plus 3,300, so you might want to listen closely to what it is. Next up, we have EG against Order. So I obviously prefer Evil Geniuses. I'm not going to bet on this match because the line that's being offered isn't good enough to convince me to bet. I'm just not getting any value there. Let me hit the number on my phone. So they're at minus 1,000. So that makes it sound like it's more of a 2 or 3 tier differential game. I really just think it's like a 2. And this one's like actually probably closer to 3 or 4. And in reality, I think it's 2. So I'm on Evil Geniuses, but that's not a bet for me. Saigon Buffalo against Detonation Focus Me. Detonation Focus Me is still a minus 200 favorite. Sorry, let me log in. And I think that it's no bet again because it's right around the number that it should be. I think that DFM is probably a little bit better than Saigon Buffalo, and if it's a 1-tier differential, then it would be closer to 60. It'd be closer to 60-40, and the line is not even that good. Next up, we have T1 against A's. T1's much better than A's, in my opinion. Nothing about A's has changed after watching that first match. So that's a no bet for me. I'm not laying down that much money onto T1. It's at minus 8,000. Yeah, I'm not betting that because that means you need to bet 8,000 to win 100. I'm not doing that. Then we have Red Canids against Fast Pay Wildcats, and this is a spot that I think you kind of have to bet you have to bet Istanbul Wildcats because if this line, I don't remember what this line was before the first day of the games, but this one probably moved $40 or $50. Like I would assume that Istanbul Wildcats or Fast Pay Wildcats would have been the favorite going into this matchup. If on day 1 Istanbul Wildcats won their match and Red Canids lost their match, the line would have went crazy. It would have been like minus 200 to plus 170, which is some of the other lines that we've seen. At least that's what I'm anticipating it would have been. So I think in this spot, I'm getting in good on Fast Pay Wildcats. So they're the second leg of my parlay. I have Evil Geniuses as an underdog. I have Fast Pay Wildcats as an underdog. And the last underdog that I'm willing to put into a parlay, it's a $10 parlay, it's nothing crazy, is PSG. So with RNG and PSG, obviously we saw what we expected from RNG in day 1. They had a decisive win, and there were a lot of fights that were, there were a lot of scrappy exchanges in the first 10 minutes of the game. If one of those goes differently, then maybe Istanbul Wildcats had a chance. A team like PSG, I know that we can't really expect too much of them because they don't have River, they don't have Maple. It's a different roster. They have a different AD carry as well. How much confidence can we have in PSG? And for me, it's more about the spot than it is about PSG being good. So in the tier list that we have, it's a 2-tier differential. So it's basically an S team versus a B team. And when it's S against B, it should be about minus 230 to plus 200. That's how I have it kind of power rated. The line that's being offered is RNG minus 900, PSG Talon plus 500. So I think, even if you wanted to put it at 80-20, right? The max that I think PSG Talon should go, as somebody who has... and again, I don't want to fall into like they've played in international tournaments before, but for a team that everybody was kind of not hyped about, but expected to do well in this tournament, to go out, lose on day one unexpectedly, can they bounce back against RNG, prove that they are a better team than what they showed on the first day? I think that it's definitely possible, and I wouldn't be surprised if RNG threw out a clunker of a game. So that's kind of my mentality going into day two. I don't expect everything from day one to carry on. I know that there's already people on YouTube victory lapping about G2 over Evil Geniuses. Calm down. We haven't gotten anywhere yet. If G2 goes to the semifinals and loses to somebody, that's the expected outcome. I was almost going to sneeze, but I'm not going to sneeze. So just to recap, we have EG with the upset over G2. We have Istanbul Wildcats with the upset over Red Canids. And then we have PSG Talon with the upset over RNG. This does not mean that I think it is likely that PSG will win. I think that RNG wins this match probably 60, 65, maybe even 70% of the time. My bet is at plus 500. So that means I'm getting between 8 to 16 points over the book in terms of if this game was played multiple times, or like hundreds of times or thousands of times, that win rate would win me money over time. And that's how you kind of, well, you don't have to play the game that way, but that's how you should be betting. You should kind of at least think to that level. If your opinion is, I'm not betting against RNG, period, end of discussion, that's fine. Totally reasonable. It's a $10 bet. I'm willing to lose $10. If you're not willing to lose $10, you probably shouldn't be spending time on YouTube. You should probably go do something else to make some money. But that's all I've got for you today. So day two, hopefully better than day one in terms of the upsets hitting. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you. And I'll talk to you later.